Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and I'm here to get you an update from Davos 2022. Well, if you see the event, which is happening in person for the first time in the last 2 years, it has got together 2,500 people, all ranging from top global leaders from the world of politics and business, media as well. And here is everything that you need to know as to what is really happening at the event, which started yesterday. That's May 22nd and will be on until May 26th as well. So the top 10 key highlights from Davos so far is what I'm getting you in this video. The first one is that the World Economic Forum President Boji Brande spoke exclusively to news director of Aaj India Today, Rahul Kanwal, and said that this meeting is actually taking place at the backdrop of a very challenging global environment. He said that while the world was hoping for a swift recovery from COVID-19, has not really seen that happen. It has been a very slow recovery at this point in time, and the need of the hour is to ensure that economies don't slip into recession at the backdrop of the current geopolitical crisis right now. The second key biggest highlight from Davos 2022 this time around is that India is shining bright as well at Davos 2022 with nearly 100 CEOs, over a dozen government leaders at the annual meeting this time around. India perhaps has the strongest presence at this Davos 2022. The leader of our contingent, Piyush Goyal, who's the Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, has spoken to Rahul Kanwal in an exclusive interview as well and has said that India is the future. It is being recognized today by the world, especially when you look at the talent pool that India has to offer, look at the leadership that India has to offer, and the policies that India is creating, especially also at the backdrop of the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic, where India really played a very critical role when it comes to vaccination too. The third biggest highlight comes from PUNIT RENJEN, global CEO Deloitte, who spoke exclusively to Business Today TV's managing editor Siddharth Zarabi and said, and I quote, "I have never seen this level of Indian representation at Davos in all these years. I am very bullish in India. I believe this is India's century," unquote. He also believed that India is a good destination and it is important for both businesses and governments at this point in time to really seize the moment. Also, another headline came in from GITA Gopinath, the deputy MD at IMF, who was in conversation with India Today's Rahul Kanwal again. And she said that while in India the recovery is really happening, but the external environment is not very conducive to the growth right now currently. So even if the global economy really slows, it will end up having an impact on India. About from this, we also had, just when Davos started, there was a coincidence that back in India, a landmark announcement was made by the government, where the government moved to finally ease some pressure from the common man's wallets by announcing excise duty cuts on petrol and diesel by a huge margin, 8 rupees on petrol and 6 rupees on diesel as well. So, and in that context, Union Minister for Oil and Gas Hardeep Singh Puri, in an exclusive conversation with Siddharth Zarabi, said that this excise duty cut on fuel is reflective of the welfare of the common man that the government is really focused on. He also said that this move has been widely welcomed. He reiterated that while the center is doing its part by reducing the excise duty on fuel, he expects the states to follow soon as well. However, at the same time, he has mentioned that while, if at all, the Brent crude or the crude prices remain above $110 a barrel, that would be a cause of concern, and that would definitely lead to higher inflation even going forward. So, apart from this, the major, the talking point of this year's Davos 2022 is, of course, the Russia-Ukraine war. The war in Ukraine has definitely made its presence felt right there at the World Economic Forum. We've seen Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky address Davos by a video link. There was a full house for Zelensky's remote address at Davos. He called for maximum sanctions against Russia, a complete isolation, including an end to all trade, blacklisting of all banks, and full oil embargo. And that would be something that would aid Ukraine at this point in time and support Ukraine at this point in time by taking these measures. And therefore, he also said that while everybody is talking, but the talks will have no point if at all Russia ends up defeating Ukraine in this war. Those were the powerful statements coming in from Volodymyr Zelensky. Apart from this, we all know that the meeting is also taking place at a time that because of this crisis, we have seen an energy crisis across the globe taking place. Now, talking about this, the energy security crisis since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the International Energy has talked about that this may actually lead to a deeper dependence on fossil fuels. Yeah, and the Indian International Agency has actually cautioned the world. The IEA has cautioned the world about this as well. The IEA chief Fatih Birol has also said that while we need fossil fuels in the short term to meet this energy shortfall, one must see that some nations do not use this as an excuse to invest heavily on fossil fuels, as that would ultimately increase the climate risk that we face today as well. So on the one hand, we have the business risk, and the other, we also have the climate risk to take care of. In an exclusive interview with Rahul Kanwal, again, spiritual leader Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev also spoke about his message on the Safe Soil campaign. He met with agri-ministers of almost 74 nations, and he came to Davos with a message to prevent and preserve nature, implement safe soil policies, and he believes that this is definitely a positive direction, that the most important event of finance and business is actually also taking consideration of how governments want to focus on focus on soil and the prevention of soil, and have safe soil policies going forward too. Another very important factor that became a big highlight right from day one, 22nd May of Davos 2022, was that despite the price correction in the recent times, cryptocurrency world, crypto executives showed a heavy presence at Davos meet as well. Tether, which is one of the largest stable coins, offered all the attendees pizza slices to really celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day on May 22nd. In fact, after this, we've also seen at Davos 2022, Oxfam International saying that COVID-19 pandemic has seen a new billionaire emerging, one new billionaire emerging every 30 hours, while nearly 1 million people could be pushed into extreme poverty every 33 hours this year. So a contrasting report, releasing a report titled Profiteering from Pain at Davos, the rights group talked about how the report showed that 573 people became new millionaires during the pandemic at the rate of one every 30 hours. They also said that this year they expect 263 million people will actually crash into extreme poverty, on the other hand, at the rate of 1 million people every 33 hours. So looking at this contrasting report, the rights group has urged the governments across the world to introduce permanent wealth tax to rein in extreme wealth and monopoly power as well. So those were the key highlights from Davos 2022. This time around, I'll keep getting you all the action from WEF as well, as our top editors Rahul Kanwal and Siddharth Zarabi also keep getting you the exclusive conversations and on-ground report right from Switzerland at Davos 2022. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.